Thank you all for joining us today. It means so much to have the press come and listen to the progress we've made over this last year. The National Medal of Honor Museum, it's been about 1 year, almost to the day, since we announced Arlington, Texas as our new home. And obviously 2020 has been a challenging year, and it's so heartening to see all of the support that's come forward, even in such a challenging time for our country. In fact, when you look at the frontline recovery workers, the doctors, the nurses, the first responders, without question, what we've seen in beginning the building of this museum is that there is a DNA that exists that connects our Medal of Honor recipients and those who are so selfless that we encounter now in our daily lives. So to see the support for building our home, the National Medal of Honor Museum here right in Arlington, has been absolutely wonderful. We've had a big year this year. We've had added 11 board members to our board of directors, including a Secretary of State, a Medal of Honor recipient also. It's just been absolutely great. We've had recently introduced into the Senate legislation addressing the other part of this project, which of course is to build the first ever National Medal of Honor monument in Washington, D.C. And just a short time ago, Senator John Cornyn and Senator Tim Kaine came together in a bipartisan fashion, really reflecting the mission of this museum, of this country coming together, introduced legislation authorizing this monument in the Senate. Here, right in Arlington, a year into it, we've just seen an incredible amount of progress across each of our key areas, and you'll hear some more about that in a second, including our architect, of course, the internationally renowned architect, Raphael Vignoli, whose work you'll see later on, I think will be one of these iconic American institutions that no matter where you are in the country, when you're watching a Cowboys game and they pan out and you see the National Medal of Honor Museum, you're going to turn to your family and say, that is a place that we have to go at least one time in our lives. It's truly a stunning design. We wouldn't be where we are right now without the support of the community, and I'm so pleased that we're joined today with the mayor of Arlington, Mayor Jeff Williams, who's also the president and head of the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation. When we went on our national search that concluded a year ago, visiting cities all across the country, I can tell you that one of the key drivers to why we ended up here was the support of this mayor who, since before we picked Arlington, has just been a tireless advocate for our work here and continues every day, including today, helping us make sure that this dream of a place to preserve these stories and honor the more than 3,500 individuals who have received the Medal of Honor, this place becomes a reality. And I'm so thrilled that the mayor could join us today. And Mayor, I'd love to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Joe. And I'm so excited to be here today alongside two leaders who are doing so much for our community, but also to honor America's bravest military heroes. The Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, of which I'm privileged to serve as president, is Arlington's largest philanthropic organization. And we are honored to stand alongside the National Medal of Honor Museum Foundation as they build a national museum right here in Arlington, Texas, to preserve those inspiring stories of individuals who went above and beyond the call of duty in service to our nation. And we are confident this extraordinary place will inspire current and future generations with the ideals of courage, of integrity, patriotism, leadership, and sacrifice. And for those reasons, the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation is thrilled to have made a legacy gift of $3.5 million to the Capitol campaign to build the National Medal of Honor Museum. And through our gift, we are underwriting the museum's breathtaking architectural designs, which beautifully capture our nation's gratitude to our greatest heroes and ensures their inspirational stories are shared with future generations. Now, you'll all see the design very shortly, and we look forward to a rich and significant partnership between the Museum Foundation team and the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation as we build America's next national treasure. Joe?
Thank you, Mayor. And on behalf of the entire organization, I just want to thank the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation for such a generous gift. And it truly is catalyzing. I think that when you see the design and to know that the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, their gift was the energy behind that design becoming a reality, it's just wonderful for all our supporters to see. And certainly as we've gone through the adventure of fundraising during a national pandemic, seeing this design and hearing about the gift from the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation has played a huge role in the success that we've seen, so that's terrific. Now I want to introduce our chairman, who I have to say, Charlotte Jones, of course, the Chief Brand Officer of the Cowboys, and now the chairman of the National Medal of Honor Museum, has been just an absolute transformative force during this entire year. The reason we are where we are is because Charlotte takes her role as chairman extremely seriously, and I know there's not a day goes by, including I would say on Sundays, still not a day that goes by where she's not thinking about the ways that we can progress and succeed and make this a museum not only that North Texas and Texas is proud of, but that the whole country is proud of. So as the CEO, I feel like I won the lottery getting to work for Charlotte as my boss and as our chairman. And Charlotte, I'll kick it over to you.
Oh, well, thank you, Joe. Those are such amazingly kind words. I truly appreciate it. And we certainly do think about the museum on Sundays. We have a beautiful spot that runs about heroes honoring heroes, and it's great stories from Medal of Honor recipients, and they are recognizing local heroes who are doing heroic things in unconventional times. So it's great to be able to tie all of them together. And to you, Mayor Williams, thank you so much. Thank you for being our steward in this project and actually getting the museum to Arlington, but also thank you for your leadership with the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation and your extraordinary gift of $3.5 million, certainly a cornerstone legacy gift for us, for Arlington, for the museum, and for our future. So we could not do this without you. We certainly wouldn't be even in this position if it wasn't for your guidance and your leadership. So thank you, Mayor, and thank you to all of those in Arlington who have been so supportive. It's hard to believe that it's been a year since we made this great announcement about the museum coming to Arlington. I remember it like it was yesterday. We were standing on the field in the middle of the Green Bay game alongside former President George Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush, along with 8 Medal of Honor recipients, as we made the announcement that the National Medal of Honor Museum would have its home in Arlington. I knew then that it would be a significant day, not just for Arlington and not just for DFW, but for our entire nation. There is probably no greater responsibility as Americans than for us to be able to recognize those men and women who have served in the U.S. military, in our armed forces, and for the sacrifice that they, as well as their families, give every day to keep us as Americans safe and free. We are so grateful for that. And because of that, I accepted the role as chairman of this incredible organization and this incredible process. And it has been amazing ever since that day. I never dreamed that we would have kind of the start that we have had. But nevertheless, it has been inspiring day after day. And one of the first things that we did was try to build robust support around us. And we have quite a team in place, and we seem to add to that almost every day in amazing people that want to be a part of this project. Just to name a few, we have amazing honorary directors in our former presidents, President Carter, Obama, Clinton, and Bush. We have an incredible National Advisory Board that is chock full of amazing leaders, from former Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta and many more, former Secretaries of American military branches and NATO, and former U.S. ambassadors. And we added former Ambassador former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson just recently to our board, and a number of incredibly decorated and inspirational leaders that will help bring this project to fruition. They believe, as I do, and Joe and the mayor, that this is an incredibly important cause. It not only gives us the opportunity to finally recognize these incredible men and one woman who have gone above and beyond the call of duty to protect our country and to serve our country. We all share the same mission, we all share the same passion, and it is time for this to happen. We love honoring heroes of all kinds, of sports and other, but it is finally time for us to have an appropriate museum to honor these amazing men and one woman. We're still, on our feet and moving forward and aggressively raising funds. Thank you, Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, again for kicking us off in such a strong way. To date, we have raised over $61 million towards this effort. It's a great start. We still have a long way to go, but it just shows us that and gives us the inspiration to know that there are so many men and women out there that want to join in the effort to bring this to life, and it inspires us to go out and to continue to do great things and to bring this actually to life. Probably. I don't know where exists any other way, any other place where you actually have a museum and you have a monument, and a museum in the heartland of America and a monument in our nation's capital to be able to pay the appropriate tribute to such sacrifice. So we're excited that it's going to be right here in our own backyard, but this is a national effort, and we are glad that so many people across America will get a chance to see this. And speaking of seeing it, we have an amazing architect. And, Joe, I think you're going to actually reveal the great design, but it was quite a process to get to this point. But I think you're going to love what you see. Joe?
Thank you so much, Charlotte. And I think Charlotte's right. This is all about, heroes honoring heroes and seeing that DNA is incredible in our everyday lives. And in fact, the 5 Medal of Honor recipients that are on our board, it's so important to them that this museum, in large part, is about heroism that we find in our daily lives, in our daily civilian lives. The last thing I'll say before we show the design is just that we are so lucky to be located where we are. The other entity that's just been an absolute knockout for us has been the Texas Rangers. And when you think about that area in Arlington, and you've got the Cowboys and you've got the Rangers both represented on our board, there's just so much support and passion for creating this museum. And Raphael has created a beautiful space that we're on our way to build, and this is what it looks like.
Wow.
It's a beautiful space that's going to house, of course, in the upper slab, the steel Resolute box is going to be the visitor experience, about 30,000 feet of exhibition space. Not sure if you can see, but there'll be a significant component of the physical museum that will house the National Medal of Honor Leadership Institute. When we look across this country, there's no more important time for efforts to show that, left or right, no matter what socioeconomic class, race, ethnicity, there's something that binds us together as Americans. And hearing directly from Medal of Honor recipients who come from all walks of life, authentic recipients in their stories in the Leadership Institute, in this beautiful, strong and resolute building, is going to have an impact on the country. So we're super thrilled with Raphael's design. And as Charlotte said, we've raised a lot of money in 1 year, but we still got a long way to go. And there's so many different ways for people to participate. Go to our website at mohmuseum.org. And whether you give $1, $5 or more, just the idea that you're a part of making this happen really will make you, and I think your family, proud that when the entire country is looking at this museum and every living president, every living Medal of Honor recipient is there, and we open our doors to know that you played a part in building this national treasure, I would suggest go to mohmuseum.org and become a part of it. And with that, we'd love to take any questions.
Yes, hi. It's Brad Wright, formerly Channel 5, but for the purposes of this exercise, with Game Day Productions as the host of our very red, white, and blue series, Everyday Heroes. My first question is for Charlotte. Charlotte, along with the Jones family name comes an awful lot of clout. It's awesome that you're involved. What was the impetus for you?
Well, when we heard about the project potentially coming to Arlington, we jumped in immediately to help maybe push it over the edge a little bit to secure its rightful place here in Arlington. You know, and when you think about why do you do that, you know, I think the Dallas Cowboys, and often referred to as America's team, that affiliation and association with the military in our history and currently is significant to us. And when I think about how do we inspire our players that play the very game out there on Sundays, and you look at who has the story that talks about courage and valor and strength and resilience and perseverance, and our guys look to these heroes as leaders and those who actually show what true determination is all about. So it felt like an incredibly authentic connection, and then even more so when the project actually did land here, that we wanted it to be the best that it possibly could. And we truly believe that we're on a mission to inspire America, and that we are trying to build future leaders of tomorrow. And the stories of these amazing men and one woman are amazing. And when you talk about valor and you talk about strength, that's what they represent. Clearly, the design of the building and the museum itself represents strength, and really it represents wonder. You know, how in the world does that monolith stand? How in the world did they build that? But most importantly, how in the world did they do that? And I think that is the inherent authenticity of why we're involved.
I have one more question for Joe, and I will apologize in advance if I drop offline. I'm way up in the mountains, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose you. So I'll ask Joe very quickly. Part of our program, we have in the past had the great pleasure of featuring a couple of Medal of Honor recipients, and I always harken back to what President Eisenhower, he said, if given the choice of the White House or the Medal of Honor, I would take the Medal of Honor. General George Patton said he would swap his command for a Medal of Honor. Joe, in the Arlington Entertainment Complex, which is so rife with so many incredible venues, how do you get the word out that this really is a big deal?
You know, I think that the most important thing to do is the way in which we approach telling these stories. In my former role, I was the president of the National September 11th Memorial and Museum in New York City, and what we found is by telling the stories of the individuals that went through such a tremendous, and in that case, terrible experience, but showed an incredible amount of selflessness and heroism to help others, you know, people went through it and it just spread by word of mouth. So we have all of the support of these major brands and these major American entities, but the responsibility really is on the museum to create an exhibition and a visitor experience that when you leave that place, you're absolutely blown away. And the good thing, and the reason I think we will succeed, is that each one of these stories of these heroes in and of themselves are incredible. They're not only incredible for what they did, but they're incredibly interesting. Almost by definition, they are wild and in some cases crazy stories, but that are true. So if we can just do our job, tell the stories as it went in a way that can emotionally impact our visitor, I think this will be an institution that will attract literally hundreds of millions of Americans over time to come visit this once-in-a-lifetime destination.
Well, Charlotte, Joe, Mayor Williams, thank you for letting me be part of the dialogue. I will pass the floor, and I would just say on behalf of Game Day, you let us know how we can help.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions?
Sure, I'll have one for Charlotte. Obviously, it was touched a little bit at the beginning of this call with COVID, with this being a very challenging year with COVID-19 and all. How has the pandemic affected the effort in the fundraising? And more importantly, how did you manage to overcome some of these challenges presented this year so that it didn't interfere with the timetable to have the museum ready in 2024 to honor the bravest men in this country?
Well, I think, what you said is so true. This has been such an unprecedented year for all of us across the globe, and trying to find ways to navigate through this, through COVID-19 and the impacts that it has individually, professionally, as a country. They're vast, and I think what we have been able to do is, one, acknowledge that they exist. And I think when you have a challenge like that, you look at it directly and realize that things will be different, and we need to alter expectations and processes on how we move forward. But at the same time, all of us truly believe in this mission. Joe mentioned that there are over 3,500 Medal of Honor recipients. And unfortunately, there are only 69 of them who are currently living. And for us, we do have a sense of urgency. So it's not something that we want to push pause on and just hold on until things clear, because honestly, we don't know when that might be. So we need to galvanize our effort to be strategic and thoughtful on how we proceed, but also recognize that we're in a very serious condition across our country. We want to honor that and respect that. I think, as Joe mentioned earlier, being able to tie heroism, as we see from Medal of Honor recipients, to everyday heroism that we see on the front lines of our frontline workers, that is a great opportunity for us to connect what it means to be truly selfless and to give of yourself to help someone else.
Thank you.
Anybody else with questions?
Yeah, I've got a question for Charlotte. Charlotte, in terms of trying to leverage the powerful brand of the Cowboys to try and help this effort in the museum, once we get further down the road with the pandemic and we are able to be closer and not be socially distanced all the time, are there plans for some sort of outreach or interaction between Dallas Cowboys players and some of these Medal of Honor recipients?
Absolutely. We were hoping for that to be sooner than later. We were hoping that to actually begin, this season, obviously. Those plans are put on pause a little bit and altered slightly. But definitely, I think we see like an amazing synergy between our entire organization. And I'll remind you, too, that the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders have been on more tours overseas to military bases around the world than Bob Hope. They certainly have a legacy of bringing some bit of home and Americana to those who serve elsewhere. So there's a lot of authentic connection between who we are and our project that we are launching here. And I think as we have the ability to connect a little closer, you'll see all of those come to life.
Thanks. I'll jump in here. For Mayor Williams, you've met some of these Medal of Honor recipients. Do you find that there's a common thread? I know they have their individual stories, but do you find a common thread that you see in each of these recipients?
Yes, and it's very striking. Each one of them has a mission to accomplish more after they've received the Medal of Honor than before, and that is saying something. They are spreading the word of character, integrity, sacrifice, commitment throughout America, and it is an amazing thing to see these recipients in the classroom with our youth and how they command the attention of them, and then for them to share their inspiring stories to inspire our youth to be men and women of integrity, to apply that in both their education and in their occupation. It is amazing. And of course, that's what we are striving for, is this education there that will truly inspire not only our youth, but people of all ages there to be those people of character, integrity, and sacrifice and commitment to continue to make America an incredible place.
And I'll jump in here for Joe. We on the phone can't see the designs, and we're excited to see them. I know we'll get a chance here shortly, but could you take us through some of the features and kind of describe, what they are meant to be? Because I'm sure there's a lot as we look at that we might not even recognize in the beginning, that there's some meaning behind some of the features.
Well, absolutely. I think that fundamentally the museum and its physicality represents strength and sacrifice, that this country, this 245-year experiment that is America, is not just guaranteed to continue to thrive without the sacrifices of the men and women on the front line. So when you look at this museum and you see the steel slab almost floating in the sky as the entity, the box that is containing these incredible stories being held up by just 5 pillars, it's incredible, and it's meaningful that it really represents all of the sacrifices that have been made so that we can be free. Other parts of this design, not only the Leadership Institute, but there'll be lots of parts of this museum that are focused around education of the K through 12 group. So we'll have classrooms and conference abilities. The Leadership Institute will bring in speakers from all over the world to really address the importance of character and moral leadership, knowing that when, as the mayor said, when those traits are applied, whether it's in politics or in industry or in the tech sector or in sports, it really has a chance to impact so many. It really pays it forward when people can lead through moral character. So I think the design will support that. We're on 5 acres of just absolutely beautiful land in Arlington. It will be a place that is filled with life and filled with energy, not only going to a Cowboys and a Rangers game or going to Texas Live, being able to do all those things and then saying, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity to learn about this country and where we came from and the sacrifices that have been made, and taking a beautiful walk through a beautiful landscape to this museum and really getting some education during a time that will be incredibly fun being in Arlington, but also some real serious yet extremely interesting and energizing history about the sacrifices that were made so that we can be free.
And for Charlotte, with so much more still to come, I know, what has the group accomplished so far that you're most proud of?
There's so much, actually. I think probably the most important thing is the group of people that have come together to say this is significant. There may not be another project of its size and significance that exists in our country. I think we all can get excited that we have something here that's actually in Arlington, but this is a national treasure. And we are telling stories of heroes that are long overdue to be told. And we are talking about feats of leadership and character that are needed today more than ever before, that we get to bring to life. So I think the accomplishment is in bringing a group together that is finally able to say, we are going to bring this to life, we're going to bring it to completion, and we're going to be able to honor these amazing heroes that have done so much and have been really the bravest of the brave. And it's our time to do our part in what makes America great.
If I may, I've got one question for Charlotte. And Charlotte, pardon me, this is a Cowboys/AT&T Stadium question. I'm curious about the internal and external feedback that you've had so far from having fans at the stadium for Cowboys games, and also what are the plans to further increase the attendance for this weekend's Giants game?
Got it. Okay, so yeah, that is a switch. I was going to say, how does it look? Outside of AT&T Stadium, it looks remarkable. I think here's what I know, and the feedback that we've received from our fans is that attending the games have been a very safe experience, that has been an experience that people felt comfortable from the time they arrive to the time that they leave, in terms of how the actual day progresses as it relates to safety. I'm sure there were a lot of people that left there Sunday that would have loved a better outcome and would have been a lot happier. But I think that I'm so proud of all of the people that in our organization that have orchestrated such an experience for people to safely move in and out. I think as we look at that and as we move forward for the Giants game coming up, you should expect a similar attendance to what we've had for the past 2 games. We continue to take a step in monitoring. Do we feel comfortable? Does the state feel comfortable? Do people feel comfortable adding and getting people closer together? We may not be quite there yet. I mean, things happen around us that make other triggers for us to have to consider in terms of how people's comfort level will be when they show up on game day. So we monitor all of those things daily, actually, between the games, and certainly the feedback from the fans drives us to our next decision.
So you don't have a certain benchmark, or you increased it by about 5,000 fans last game. You don't have that same sort of number in mind yet for the Giants game?
I think it is, no, I think it's similar to that. I mean, it's a gradual increase, but only as people are comfortable and accept the given number on that day. Our feedback from last week has been incredibly positive. Based on that, we'll take that and any learnings that we had from there to make the experience on Sunday even better. And, hopefully you will see that gradual increase. I don't ever see us making like an astronomical jump from one game to the next game. I think this is a gradual process and we learn every day where we should be.
Great, thanks for going on topic. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here. We really appreciate you guys listening to all the progress that's been made. And I think between the mayor and Charlotte and the Cowboys and the Rangers and the city of Arlington, that there's every reason to believe that when we're back here next year, we're going to look at the amazing progress and say they doubled it. So hopefully it's going to be a tremendous year, and we're super optimistic and appreciate you listening today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.